Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we talk about all things crypto market. That includes the majors like gold, silver, ETFs, treasury bonds, canned goods, ammo, guns. The only things that are holding up value right now. I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Memecoins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to talk about the market crash over the weekend, whether or not we have hit the cycle top, and what tokens we're potentially buying on this juicy little dip here. Good morning. Good morning. It has been a rough one. I'll tell you what, Clemente, you look like you're at a little bit of distress there. How are you feeling on this bloody Monday?
Yeah, Raymond, thank you for asking. It was a tough one. It was a tough one. I thought the bottom was in on Saturday night, so I deployed some of my stables. I actually took some stables. I remember about a month ago when we were I was talking about how I hadn't taken any money out. When Solana went back up to 240, I took some off the table.
Look at you. Look at you. And right back in.
Not that much. And I just deployed it all in.
Dude, you're sitting there, you're like, I have stables right now. Look at me. I'm the guy with stables. Oh, look at this dip. Let me just throw it all right back in.
So what I did was I actually threw most of it back into Bitcoin. I stacked some more Bitcoin. I felt underexposed, like I didn't have enough, and this pullback was nice. Yeah, it was very interesting seeing everyone become a geopolitical tariffs expert this weekend. I mean, I didn't know crypto Twitter had this much talent. I mean, these guys are just psychologists. They're all kinds of analysts. So it's fantastic to see that. But yeah, right. I mean, I actually had great sleep last night. I went to sleep like a baby. I'm like, it's like I was going to sleep in Noah's Ark, basically, with everything flooding, and I'm just I'm an elephant. So yeah.
An elephant Noah's Ark. I watched the emergency stream you guys did last night. This morning, I was asleep. I went to bed early last night. I was in bed by like 8:30. I deployed some capital into Bitcoin as well over the weekend, not in the traditional sense, but in the this really stupid JPEG sense when I bought a Bitcoin puppet over the weekend. So I guess technically
how much did you get it for, Ray?
Real quick, Ray, you're on the wrong audio on Twitter Spaces. They can't hear us. They can just hear you.
All right, let me unplug.
All good. Here we go. But yeah, Ray bought this.
I changed my test. I changed my
they still can't hear you. I can also, if we need to, I can also maybe let them know you're aware of the audio.
Yeah, so I'm aware of the issues going on in Twitter Spaces right now. Sorry, we're trying to troubleshoot live right now. You can just hear me. Unfortunately, that's not very useful when everybody else is talking as well.
Why don't I try on my phone?
Yeah, you can do that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's try this. Ray or Easy or Signal, try speaking and then give me a thumbs up if you hear me.
GM.
Do you hear all the GMs? Give me a thumbs up. We're doing some live improv here. What do we got here? Give me some thumbs up. Can you hear anyone else but me when they speak?
Test 1 2 3. Can you guys hear Ray?
Okay, we're getting some thumbs up. We're in business. Let's go. It's showtime. Look at that. Live pivot, dude. I mean, we're just locked in here, folks.
Let's go. Hey, Ray, what price did you get your puppet at?
0.06 Bitcoin. So we are down already. I thought we had hit the bottom, basically local lows up to the last time. Looking at Bitcoin puppets, we're at 0.055. So down 10%-ish. But I've been staring at these for a while, like trying to buy one that I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And that was basically the goal. I found one that was cool. It was on the floor. The floor had been falling, so I made the play. And I was rotating money to Bitcoin anyway. Hopefully, I mean, the thesis is these don't fall too much further. Hopefully, it's just about the same thing as buying Bitcoin at this point. But
I like the buy, Ray. I will say, well, we were looking at these. Remember, we were talking. We were like, how much lower can they go? We were like 0.08 maybe, and you got these at 0.06. They could obviously go lower. However, I do think Udi, when he launches Taproot Wizards, which will be the upcoming collection that I think will be the most anticipated, that'll bring back a little ordinals rally. That's my little prediction there, but I like to buy.
Yeah, I mean, the cats are down 16%. These ones are holding up pretty well, but nothing was immune to the market dump. This is 0.2 is a little bit juicy here as well on the ordinals front. But we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to have the weather report here from Signal in a second. But yeah, we really want to talk market today, figure out where everything's going, talk tokens. Maybe we'll get back into some of the NFT stuff later. But I just wanted to celebrate my final like finally jumping into the puppet ecosystem there. So
Right
in there. And
did you guys see all of the tweets from people getting liquidated? I was like, God damn, dude. I hope are these real? Like Intuitio or whatever his name is. He's just like, yo, I just lost everything. So it's kind of wild seeing that, but
I don't know if I started him in enough fantasy top decks. I need to check that out for sure. He's on private, isn't he?
I don't know. I can pull him up, but
anyway, why don't we just kick off the weather report here, Sig, and then we'll jump into it.
Yeah, I'm back. All good on the audio. Let's get into Monday's bleeding market report on February the 3rd. Looking over the crypto roundup, the majors, they rebounded just slightly with Bitcoin just over 95K, Ethereum at just under 2,600, and Solana at $195. Over the weekend, the top big three stories. Well, firstly, the crypto total market fell by 14% to 3.1 trillion as tariff wars ensued between the US, China, Canada, and Mexico. The crypto fear and greed index dropped to 39. So we're in the fear zone, the lowest level since October 2024, and over 8 billion was liquidated from leverage positions. Next up on the meme coin front, Memeland's Pain token pre-sale opened Friday night and has raised already over $10 million so far. Memeland asset holders are expected to get allocation, and the uncapped pre-sale is open until 11 p.m. Eastern tonight. And then lastly, some good news for the EU. Thank goodness, crypto adoption has come as Coinbase obtained a VASP license in the UK. This will allow Coinbase to expand their crypto offerings in Europe. That is all for the weather report. It is back to you folks in the studio.
Excellent weather report. As always, Signal, a lot to unpack there. I mean, the first thing mainly is the markets. And Easy, if you can set the stage here, do a little charting, let us know what happened, what levels we're looking at, and like how you feel overall with like the market state right now. I think
we're fucked, Ray.
Okay. We're dipping again. I wrote that weather report with like Bitcoin over 9,500. Now we're like approaching 94K. So we're continuing.
I mean, we dip until market open. That's the thing. Until we get the equities market open, I think we dip. Like, damn, yeah. No, this has been a very, 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 very not best, to say the least. So taking a peek here, the Bitcoin chart. That's what I wanted to happen. It's not what's happening, clearly. This range is where I said I'm a buyer. We wicked into it. Still have some uptrend on the Bitcoins. Like, we're still making new lows, higher lows. So if we break this, then we're in danger. But I don't think we're in any sort of like serious danger just yet.
Easy. This is the 4 hour on Bitcoin right now?
This is the 4 hour, correct.
Got it.
What are you thinking, King?
Can you pull up the ETH chart? Why did ETH dump 17? I mean, ETH just got crushed.
Bro, if you've been holding ETH since you're officially, like, you dipped below August 24 prices. This might be the worst.
The next bottom? Like, I know we had a liquidation wick down there to like close to the 2K range. Like, if it falls to that range, where's the next level of support?
Like somewhere around here.
So for anyone just
right around the 0 mark.
Easy highlighted 0 on the chart.
Dude, I don't know. The ETH stuff is just ugly. Like, the chart is really bad. Like Sol, you got a nice bounce, still slightly higher lows. Nice bounce off the 382. Now back above right around that 0.5, 192 area. We still have this trend line that we finally broke under. And once you broke that, you saw a big wick down. But we haven't dumped under 168 yet. We touched 171. It's ugly. Like, plain and simple, the easiest way to explain it, it's ugly. Like, this is all red. Everything's red here. Bitcoin at 4%. Sol's holding up second best out of the whole market. Literally the entire market. Pax G, I don't even know what this is only down 2.5%. Like, of course, it's a thing no one's ever fucking heard of. That's somehow surviving here. But, like, Whiff, someone at the Grammys was wearing a goddamn Whiff chain, and it sold off even harder, which is unsurprising.
Is Whiff dead? Is Whiff dead? Like,
yes.
It's just done?
Yes. Yes. Dude, did you see Decrypt came out? It was like, we called the Sphere, and they said they're not in talks with Whiff.
Yeah, they said the only coin that's going on are exchanges and Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin and then Bitcoin and crypto exchanges. They were just like, we don't know who these Whiff people are. They're not getting on the Sphere. I was like, that's a bad look. That's a bad look. But dude, I mean, it's ugly. It's ugly out here.
I thought it must have been a screenshot. I thought there was like a Polymarket battle and Ansem going to jail this year, and it just like shot up.
It was fake. It was fake.
I was gonna say, is that thing real or not?
Yeah. But easy on the holding ETH. The worst part about ETH is like ETH NFTs is you have to hold ETH. Like Pudgy Penguins holders are just sitting there. Not only are they down 30% in the last 7 days, but ETH is also down 20%. So if you look at
I'm a large ETH holder, Clemente, with my CryptoPunk. Large ETH holder. And yeah, that's down about 1 ETH, but down about 45,000 United States dollars with that 1 ETH.
Yeah, I mean, Pudgies are approaching that 10 ETH mark too. The bids are below 10 ETH. Could go into single digits for Pudgies here soon. And you said CryptoPunks also down right now. Nick, you've been looking to buy a CryptoPunk. You were like kind of interested on these last week when Easy bought his. I mean, right now, if you're buying with cash, it's pretty juicy. You're looking at what, 100K again? Maybe getting under 100K for a floor punk at this point. I mean,
I don't buy floors.
I don't buy floors. Are you going to PFP it? Like, is that the goal with it? Or
I don't know. If I bought one, I want one that I love. And a lot of these I don't love. You know, you gotta love them. You gotta hold them close.
Right here. So no. why do you need to love it is a question.
I don't know. Do you want to buy an art that you don't like some guy's dong? You know, I mean, a picture of a dong, just like hang that up on your wall in your house.
If I'm not hanging it up on the wall. If my thesis is trade, I think it almost makes sense to get one you don't like. If you're gonna hold it for years, maybe. How long did you hold your punk last time?
Not long enough.
So
over a year. I held it over a year.
All right, so the buying what you love is interesting if you like have a long-term thesis and it helps you like maintain conviction, I guess. But then if you're buying above floor with a punk, you really have to like understand the marketplace because there's premiums that go for these, and it's like a very liquid middle ground, isn't it? Like, did you have trouble selling your punk?
No, I sold it literally instantly to the Punk's OTC guy.
Okay. I mean, it helps that he exists to like provide that mid-tier rarity liquidity, but I'd be nervous.
They're not. Well, essentially, that as we just said, that it's in ETH, is the issue that you end up running into. I just don't think most people want to be holding ETH at this point. Solana's outperformed dramatically. Even like had I just converted the ETH when I sold my punk to Solana, I would have absolutely printed. But I didn't. I just kept it in ETH, which was basically the worst trade. I did because of diversification. I didn't want to hold everything in Solana and Bitcoin. If I were to make a move right now, one of two things. I'd buy buy a punk, take all my remaining ETH, and split it between Solana and AVAX.
Interesting. Easy, you want to pull up the AVAX chart?
Let me pull that back up. 1 minute, one moment, please.
So AVAX, what's the thesis on AVAX here?
It'll go up.
You think that? So you think the biggest upside for like quote unquote majors is in Solana and AVAX?
Well, the real question actually that you run into is ETH has traded relative to Bitcoin historically. And you get when the altcoin season happens that everyone talks about, what you're really looking at is the ETH Bitcoin chart. Now there's like a shifting consensus where it feels like people don't like ETH. Solana has kind of replaced ETH, but now that you have, although it hasn't completely, and the situation that you run into is what you who's drawing this chart? Okay. The situation you run into is what is the value of number 2? like or the smart contract layer to Bitcoin. If you're being real practical, there's a conversation I was having at the Real Vision event the other night, where really a lot of the world's most intelligent investors get together to talk about cryptocurrency. It's why they invited me. I then allowed Clemente and Pio to join, and granted them, you know, the ability to hang amongst some of the greats. But in all seriousness, one of the conversations that I had was, they were talking about like ETH and how all these new ones like SWI, but the people that buy into a lot of these blockchains don't have any technical understanding of it. They understand the high level, and in many regards, you don't have to. But I think it's an awful development experience pretty much on every blockchain. If you can't just be a JavaScript developer and suddenly hop in and go build smart contracts on Solana or on SWI or on any of them. And so that's a big problem. The easiest that I've found actually is EVM compatible blockchains, but still it sucks. I remember when we launched the first Nifty Portal contract and I had a bug in it, even though I had a test suite set up against it, I missed something. And so that was that was an error, and we ended up launching another one. Quickly fixed it, but dude, I don't.
One of those incorrect NFTs.
Nice. Well, it's still in the wallet. Now that it's called a what token?
I don't know. It's a legacy now. It's archaeologists are going to want that in the future.
There's a token that people end up using where you can't sell it. Like if you have what? Soulbound token. We were the first to create it.
always innovating in this space, of course.
So anyways, the last thing about this is the question is, what should ETH be relative to Bitcoin, or what should the best altcoins be as the highest relative basis to Bitcoin? And there's not a clear-cut answer to that. And there's also the fact that you end up with a bunch of competitors in this space. They're not competitors to Bitcoin, but they are, what would be the best, like they are competitors to each other. So I don't know. Like your guess is as good as mine. You can figure out what a good valuation is of these different things. You're basically valuing them like a company. 300 billion is a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely make a good point there of Rust versus JavaScript. I was trying to look at like adoption metrics, and like JavaScript like holds the very large lion's share of like developers. So you do run into that issue on the crypto side. But even if you are coding with JavaScript and doing contract development, you still need to know a little bit of the kind of like workings going on beneath the scenes. So anyone coming in, go ahead.
Well, if you make an error, it's permanent.
Yeah.
If you make an error, it's permanent. Quick question. I want to hear what you're going to say, Signal. Does anybody have the chart of punks on an ETH basis?
You can get, so they have it on TradingView, I think. Let me see if I can pull it up. If they have the punks ETH. Because you're looking punks to ETH, right? Not punks to USDC.
Yeah. And what were you saying, Signal?
I was going to say, like, every time I hear the conversation around blockchains like SUI, and it's coming from prominent people, they always disclose it, but they tend to be like, I sit on a board, or I invested in the token early. And it just feels like versus Solana, where you had people like Easy very early on, just being in the trenches, trading NFTs, doing stupid tokens. It very much had like that organic feel of like, it was kind of like the table that you don't want to sit at in 2021, but quickly became the table that you do want to sit at. While SUI, on the other hand, like now, I don't see that much conversation about it on the timeline or even in Discord. It just feels like the play continues to be Solana. And I think like everyone is looking for the next thing, but the answer is Solana. I don't like, And this whole question of like, what is the next alternative? I know the price is horrendous on ETH, but the reason why I still hold it is because it's the only other cryptocurrency right now that has an ETF. So when inflows do come in, they will eventually go to like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And until that narrative changes, I find it difficult to like jump over to the SUIs and the other alts, bar plays like Radium and Jupiter, which is still within the Solana ecosystem. So what I'm saying right now is basically, what is your question about alts? I still think the ETF narrative has a huge role to play, and ETH will bounce when Bitcoin bounces off this as well.
I can't find the ETH chart.
Nick, you wanted the ETH chart? Okay, you got to come into.
There we go.
There's ETH and USD. I can just take out the USD for now. This is ETH. Bottom of 20.5 Sol in August of last year.
So you just said Sol.
20.5 ETH, you meant.
ETH.
WJ, can you link me that?
Yeah.
That's an awful chart.
Real bad. Real bad. Looks like it's going much lower. Punks OTC, if you're in the market for a punk, I got a great one for 37 ETH.
The USD chart is, I found it a little bit more interesting here. No, this still doesn't look good.
I mean, what's the floor there on that USD chart?
It's just lower highs and lower lows
What's
on
the,
both of these charts.
What's the
These
floor?
charts suck ass. Why do I own this JPEG?
Easy bought the Pico local top.
Yeah, I'm down in ETH and I'm down astronomically in USD value.
Yeah,
You didn't look at this chart.
USD.
Oh, look at that one. How's that one look, Easy?
Even worse, man. Even worse. What the fuck was I thinking? Thought it'd be cool to have a punk for once, and great. Got down 45,000 United States dollars.
I mean, the
Nothing
top
like
signals were there.
Suburban teacher's salary and a picture of 8 pixels.
Top signals were there. When Easy was just like buying a punk like on a whim during that live stream with Kicks, as he like just had printed $200,000 on base AI meme coins in 2 weeks. Like that Trump, like we really had a good amount of frothiness that we kept talking about. And we were talking about the market resetting to these levels, even lower than these levels, to be honest. Like you're saying, okay, well, we haven't made that next leg up. The next leg down is 90 some and then 80 some for Bitcoin. I think we're just kind of seeing like that top form. I mean, part of the cycle, they always say there's what 50% drawdowns in a bull market. Is this the first one of the bull market, or do people really think that we have topped for this cycle? So definitely some things to unpack.
I still don't think we've fully topped, personally. That's just me though. I think we still have some upside across like the board for a lot of stuff. A lot of alts haven't made new highs. Many won't, but I still think there's some that are strong that will. I still think Bitcoin has a 150K target that I keep, like, that's where my head's been. I think we could still get it in May. I think historically these heavy drawdowns have proven time and time again to be good spot buying opportunities. FTX, COVID, many people comparing those based on liquidation numbers. Bybit came out yesterday and said all the liquidation numbers are wrong and liquidations were significantly larger. They said about 2 billion got wiped yesterday, and they were like, nah. We had 2.1 billion on Bybit liquidated yesterday. It's actually closer to 10 billion. It's just that the API calls are rate limited. He's like, we're going to open this up so that we can get better and more accurate and transparent data. I believe the guy's name was Bybit Brian, Bryan. His Twitter posted it this morning. So I was looking at that and I was like, oh, yeah, this is really bad. Like, this is really bad. But they're saying it's comparable to the COVID crash, comparable to the FTX debacle. But of course, there's significantly more capital in the markets. There's more liquidity to liquidate right now. That's why. Like, you have TradFi involved. I still think this week, maybe the next 10 days, but I want to say the next 5 to 7, we get all-time high numbers on BTC and ETH inflows, ETFs. I think we will see a fairly large buying opportunity across the board from traditional finance. It'll be interesting to see. So this is the Bybit post where they were just straight up like, yeah, these numbers are all wrong. Like, there's significantly more liquidity.
Like you said, Bybit Brian is just like Ben Zhao. It's like nowhere near.
Ben Bybit. I was wrong. I was close enough. They both start with a B. Who gives a shit? Yeah, so they don't push all the liquidations.
one thing that I was looking at and like my mind went to initially was 2021's first top that we saw. Well, actually, I guess you can look at both tops really. So in 2020, coming into 2021, we hit 41K, set new all-time highs for Bitcoin, and we retraced all the way down to like below 30. So I mean, you're looking at 25% retrace before absolutely gig ascending to a new high at 64. We did the same thing again, 64 down to 30, a 50% retrace before setting a new all-time high at 69, and that was the end of the cycle. So like my mind goes like, okay, like is this the first of two? Is this like the first of many? Like where are we in this cycle in terms of like bull market pullbacks? And before everyone like gets really worried, like we have seen like these sort of pullbacks before. It's not like the end of the world. You shouldn't be like liquidating and panicking necessarily. We could end up sending a higher off of the previous all-time highs as well. So just something that came to mind when I was kind of like looking at price action and framing it versus last cycle.
So the one thing I was thinking about was that, so Trump's come to the table with these 25% tariffs, and in his previous administration, I think it was around 10% he came to the table. So even if he doesn't do the full 25%, which has got obviously Canada, Mexico, and China pretty pissed off, it started a direction of tariffs going on imports, right? So that means that we're going to see more inflation, which then affects interest rates. So the market right now in TradFi doesn't actually seem to be like completely spooked. If you look at like the volatility, right, it actually seems okay, which is weird because the market has sold off so strongly. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens when the S&P opens, and just to see like how it progresses over the next coming of days. And does that mean that Trump goes from 25% to 15, but you still have more inflation in the economy? So I'm in two minds right now. I'm like, even if we get tariffs, but they're lower, it means higher inflation, which macro doesn't like, therefore crypto won't like as well. The two still are sort of sitting side by side.
We just got, by the way, the S&P and NASDAQ Open.
Okay, and how are they doing?
S&P opened up lower than it did on last Monday. So that is showing signs of weakness. New low on the week over week. NASDAQ opened higher than last Monday. So tech stocks holding up slightly better. S&P holding up worse. You still have a gap on the S&P. Let me share this, which is the one that I've been watching pretty closely. So these are the three gaps that we had. Gaps usually get filled on the market. Yellow one got filled last Monday. We have this one down to 585 from the previous Monday. And the red one got filled as well this past week. So those are filled. The NASDAQ has no gaps right now in the market, which is good.
So
there
the
are
NASDAQ,
no
I
gaps
would
to hold me down.
Sorry, Nick, but didn't DeepSeek happen last weekend? So actually, because of like $500 million was wiped off Nvidia's stock, you can imagine that this week for the tech stocks, weirdly enough, is actually a better week for them compared to last week. So yeah. I understand why there's been like a slight uptick, but the S&P, just the way it's reacting, going like lower, that's what I would expect to happen right now. And I imagine we're going to see even more of a pullback on the S&P, which will bleed into crypto, and we'll see BTC come down. How low it goes, speak to the TA experts on the panel, but I just don't think like the way volatility is looking, the downside has been particularly priced in.
It looks like crypto likes the market open. Bitcoin approaching 96K again. Briefly got over it.
I mean, the VIX was the big thing I was watching. I posted last night I'd be buying VIX puts, volatility index puts at market open. Would have been a good move. Opened up at 20, now all the way down to 18, so already down about 10%, which is like not terribly surprising. I think volatility cools off here. You have Trump meeting with leaders of Mexico and Canada today. So if that comes out and he's basically like, we've agreed to not do this tariff thing, market's going to cook, like absolutely rally hard as hell, like next level rally. If no matter what it is, even if he doesn't get the 25%, that's it. Yes,
next level gigascend.
Yeah, like some like piss missile, jizz rocket higher type deal. Yeah, like
can we talk about gambling now?
Yeah, I was trying to shift over here. Roy in the comments said, anybody brave enough to send Solana to that pre-sale? I sent 25 sold at the paying pre-sale last night. And
I
then
sent it. I was first 5 transactions.
I watched your guys' live stream, and Easy was like, I did the same exact thing. I was like, oh shit. Here we go.
Why would you do that?
Because it's a perfect ticker for what's going on right now.
But Easy, why would you not wait until the end, like the 47th hour to send?
It's way less fun, and I would forget.
So
yeah, I mean, Clemente, if you're using your brain, you're doing that. I would have forgotten. I wanted some exposure to it anyway. My concerns are how they do tokenomic allocation, because like it's not going to be obviously not going to be like a straight percent of supply based on what was deposited there, based on what you deposited, because there's talk of meme land, NFTs, stake land, people getting a share of this. Also, it depends on how much liquidity they add initially. So like looking at how much is in there versus your projected market cap versus how much you deposited, you have to do a little bit of math. As of last night, like a $25 million market cap was probably like a 2x on investment. So it really depends on like how high you think it goes. That was just like back of the napkin math that like I said, okay, I'm going to put it in here. It could go higher. It could get diluted further, but that's kind of where my head was at initially.
So for people that don't know, in case you need context, Pain is a token being launched by the Memeland team and just a separate entity.
Yeah.
And it's from the older gentleman holding like a cup, the old meme. He's been like a part of the Memeland kind of community as like a celebrity. And they opened up a 48-hour pre-sale for this. We're about, I think, like 30 to 36 hours in. They've raised 59.
It ends at 11 p.m. tonight, so we have 14 hours left.
Yeah.
13 and a half.
So they've raised 59,000 SOL so far, which is 11.3 million. And Ray was basically talking about like getting diluted. There's rumors that MVP, basically the Memeland NFTs, are going to get a share of this, right? So a certain percentage of the supply will go to these NFTs as an airdrop.
We're getting some really strong candles, by the way, on crypto.
Really? Okay, let's check back in here. We're getting a live pump here, ladies and gentlemen. We are doing what Easy said was going to happen, which is a giga pump. It's looking like
ETH back above 26. Candle actually looks good. Bitcoin broke its range. Its highs from yesterday. The Bitcoin actually looks good. Bitcoin looks really good here. We still have this downtrend pushed off of its exponential moving average here. So like this line is what many people dictate when they TWAP, time weighted average. That's what you get a lot of funds buying and selling into. Looks like we got to push off of that. We break above 96.1 here. We probably could push back into the 97, 98 area. That's kind of where my brain goes right now. Just quick look, quick maths would be a break over this reopens the door to like somewhere around here. So I'm not talking like a huge swing here, but that also would invalidate a downtrend, which would be what we want. This is the 15-minute chart. So if I'm looking at a downtrend, we've been holding a downtrend here. So let me make this line thicker so it's easier to see. That red line is the downtrend. You want to break back over that. Could probably move it up just slightly. We tried to break it a couple times, failed, continued to push down. You basically want to break over 96.5 to break out of this downtrend.
Interesting.
When Easy, if we break over 96.5, what do you think that does for the trenches? The trenches have been horrible these last few days. It's just been
the
so
trenches
many.
Being horrible has nothing to do with macro. You lost billions of dollars in liquidity from Donald Trump launching a meme coin. The following 2 days was everyone aping the dumbest, most random shit, myself included. I think I lost $20,000 over the last week just aping dumb shit because I like to click the buttons and I need to stop enjoying the button clicking. Because you had so much money leave the casino. So much money. I have a friend who made $20 million and just went short on the market. Converted most of it to stables and just hedged short. He was like, fuck it. Like, I could lose 100 grand right now, but I think this is like peak fraud. So the bigger thing here is finding memes that are existing that actually like survived yesterday. I have my bags are heavily packed on MLG. /Sol. Let's see if we can get an MLG chart. I don't know if it's gonna. Oh yeah, MLG to ETH. I'm like heavily exposed to this one because its wick down yesterday did not even make new lows at all. It did not even make new lows. It just kept where it was. So like on this chart, the chart still looked good comparatively, and basically find memes that look good. Like that's it. That's where I go. Is I'm like, what held up better? And those that held up better probably have a higher likelihood of going higher.
What do you think about the old memes? Because like I have a lot of debt from the
I would
old
dump
memes.
every single old meme. Every
Yeah.
goddamn one. I don't want
I'm like-
Top Cat. I don't want Flog. If I'm buying anything here, the best chart in this entire market by literally the longest shot is Hyperliquid. This is like the best chart I've seen on anything. This thing's sell yesterday went down $1. That's it. Like, this was a red candle. This was its sell-off yesterday. An absolute joke of a downward move. It barely budged. It went from 24 to 21.5. You lost like nothing comparatively. And now it's already on this descending wedge. This range looks good for it to break out and push right back up. So like if I'm buying something here, if I have to buy, quote, a utility coin or like a market coin, I'm buying hype. I've already deployed into the meme coin that I think is going to rally, which is MLG. And that one I feel better to make swings on versus buying any of this old debt. Like,
wait, sorry, just 1 second. Is that hype? If you have to choose one, is that hype over Jupiter and Radium? Or like if you had to choose between those three?
Right now I'm buying hype over both.
One thing that's interesting with hype is like it kind of goes back to the VIX. I feel like hype is like a beta to VIX because if the markets are like super frothy and there's a ton of volatility, people are going to want to short and long more frequently using hype, and that's why we're seeing, I think, this like downtrend not hitting hype is because they're getting a ton of action there. Because even during the market downtrends, people are going to be putting a ton of money into shorts and then trying to catch the bottoms on long. So like there's probably a ton of volume on Hyperliquid. Yep. It flipped Ethereum in 7-day revenue over the last 7 days, which is wild. So I think this platform is one that kind of like thrives during these times of increased volatility.
I'm in the exact same boat. And I think like any sort of like counter argument to that would just be if there's a bunch of liquidations and people just have no more cash. But like hype is the leverage trading platform right now. The Jupe and Radium chart look like eerily similar. Let me just throw this back up. Like this is Jupe. This is Sol. They look very similar. So if Sol rallies, then I feel way better about Jupe and Radium because they're basically at this point, all the charts look identical. They're leverage plays on Sol. Sol does well. These will rally way harder. Hype being on a completely separate blockchain and ecosystem gives me more confidence in it. It's held up better. It's pushing new highs. It just looks better here, like across the board. So for me, I'm more interested in something like that purely because it is a separate ecosystem play here and is held up better than anything else in the market. The other side of that, if you want to stay in the Solana ecosystem, would be to buy JLP because this is how you get exposure to the Jupiter liquidity. Still, though, not like crazy. Hasn't made new lows compared to even January. But if people are trading perps and you think that more volatility is going to happen, then this is probably the play.
So either take a Solana beta play through JLP, Jupe, or Radium, or you're saying
Jupe and Ray, Solana beta play. Perps, if you believe volatility is going to continue and we have more of this like whipsaw action, then you go JLP or hype.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, basically, all my old memes, they've literally just been going down and down and down.
You should nuke every single old meme coin bag that you have. I'm talking like set slippage to 99%, turn MEV protection on, and one wick the shit out of whatever you have left. There's no reason to hold this shit.
Last week I thought about this. I literally had a post where I was like, I just want to rebalance everything. I'm in too much stuff. But it was like during that red day that we had during the FOMC. And I was like, I want to sell it all and just kind of reset. And I should have done it. I probably lost like 50% of portfolio value on those like alt plays overall for that bag.
Ray, you bought GOAT twice during the show.
Dude, goat's looking so bad. It's about to drop below 1 mil. I still like GOAT though.
So what I like about this great reset that they're calling it is I think there were a lot of old memes. I think there was a lot of bullshit that needed to get decimated. That's not going to come back. I think that like a lot of those old things like Dog with Hat. I mean, Dog with Hat's still 750 mil. It's not nothing. Popcat, all of these old ones needed this wipeout. And I think you'll see some like, I think you could see some really strong bounce backs from these like quality meme coins. I don't know which ones are the quality. Is it Unicorn Fart Dust? Is it MLG? Is it Fart Coin? But a lot of these were overvalued, and I think we got too greedy. And this is like a little reset, a little cleanse to get everyone back on track. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to improve the state of the trenches. Like, I wasn't like terribly overexposed in alts. Like, I did want to reset. Like, I had a lot of smaller bags in a lot of places. Definitely would have been better selling them back then, but I do think it is going to be good overall for like the next crop of meme coins and then the strong ones from last cycle. I think, like Easy said, anything with strength now or strength over the next few days, like keep an eye out for like what has performed well and what rebounds first, because they may be the ones that continue to lead out of all those dead coins. So I may go a trimming today, even though it is like a super red day, and just bite the bullet.
I'm not even
looking.
looking
Catch a 10%, 15% rebound, sure. Or you could get the absolute hell out of that garbage and find something better that pumps 20 to 40% instead. Like, if these garbage, dead, archaic, dinosaur-ass meme coins come back, they're going to move 10 to 20%. Instead, buy something fucking good and catch the 40 to 50% move on the upside.
Easy. But have you noticed, though, from the stuff that's been coming out of the trenches post-Trump, nothing has really stuck. Like, we had Stupid, we had... oh God, I've even forgotten all the names already.
Jelly.
Yeah, we had
Jelly.
like,
You had Stupid Tariff coin yesterday. You had GAT go to 21 mil.
All of these are gone. Not gone, but like they've heavily retraced.
Oh, they're gone.
Feels like nothing is like sticking at the moment.
Not
Like,
yet. That's the thing. Like, because Trump went to $70 billion. Like, that alone is the most ridiculous sentence I think I could ever say. It launched on a Friday night when there was a crypto ball going on and went from 1 billion to 70 billion in less than 14 hours. The amount of volume, liquidity, and activity that's needed from that is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, nothing's sticking right now because you had people take 7, 8, high 8 figures out. Like, there had to have been 9 figures in generated profit for like good traders on that. And at the same time, that means that there's 9 figures in losses for the opposite side of that trade. So that liquidity being out of the market here is what's causing so much of this stuff to not stick. Look at all the AI agents that were supposed to revolutionize the world. You know what I mean? Like, none of those are holding, and yet there's still decent infrastructure plays that are, quote, building and trying shit. So for me, it's more just like, yeah, the wider market is down, so stuff's less likely to stick. If the price of Solana can't stick above 200, the price of a meme coin is not going to stick in $5-10 million in one day. Like, it's just not going to happen. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of things that have launched over the last 14 days. Trump launched 17 days ago that has launched, and 5-10 of those tickers very well could come back and absolutely outpace any of the new stuff. But the better thing for me is, like, why not just wait, sit, and see what those are and buy in late and catch a 40 to 50% move instead of get like hyper gamble on stuff and get cooked on stuff that goes up 10% and down another 20 to 30. Like, I just don't, in good faith, I don't see a situation here where I'm like, yeah, I think this coin from 2022 that hit a $4 billion market cap and is now sitting at $112 million is a great buy. Like, that does not feel logical to me. If it was a great buy, it would have held. Like, even Mog hit 2 billion and is now down to 350 mil. That feels like a way better play for an old meme just because it still has a cult community. Like, there's not a single human being. I love PopCat. I love the ecosystem and the people who were diehard whales of that stupid thing. There's no one coming up to me saying, hey, buy PopCat. People were shitting on me for dumping my flog bag at 180 to 190 mil. I could go and buy 2x what I sold right now. Like, no one here is telling me this is a great buy. Maybe Soul Big Brain, who deployed like $1 million into it the other day. But other than that, man, I'm not speed running to buy old memes. There's no interest from me to do so. Just the sad reality of it. Like, I think there's better plays on the market, and we outlined a bunch. Like, I think Jupe, Radium, JLP, Hype, all of those will outpace every one of those old memes, except for maybe 1 or 2 that do catch a bid and find the narrative to run. But I think you're better off not having that downside risk.
Cashmere in the comments says every Binance meme listing down 70-80%. Mike Dudas made a post today listing all the 2025 Binance listings and how far they're down. You know, we're talking about all these meme coins being down. Some highlights here after they've been listed. Zero Bro down 94%, 32 days after listing. AI16Z down 90%, 32 days after listing. Vine down 77%. VVV, which was just dropped 5 days after listing, down 80%. AIXBT down 76%, less than 20 days after it was listed. Are these Binance listings now like bearish? I mean, I guess it makes sense because kind of coming into like listings when you're like holding tokens, you're like holding for the listing and then you're selling. When like that's everyone's strategy though. Like does that make like a centralized exchange listing now bearish? I don't know what your thoughts are here, Easy.
I don't know if I'd say a centralized exchange is bearish. I think that's the big difference. I think it's more just the market's in the fucking gutter. Like, obviously, these new coins with perps are going to get shorted to high hell when you don't even have buyers on chain. Like, buyers on chain drive buyers off chain into centralized exchanges. That's a big part of it. So if on chain activity is high, off chain activity will be high. Without that, though, I don't sit here and think like, oh, yeah, perps are great. Like, they're not. Plain and simple. They're just not. Like, if the market's red, these all get cooked even harder because there's nothing holding them up anyway. Like, that's it. I think there's some on there that are actually good. Cookie's interesting. Very interesting to me. I do think AI16Z is interesting, especially with the rebrand going on. I've never been an AIXBT fan. Sonic is interesting to me. Some of those that are like on there are very interesting. But a lot of them is just like, dude, they were garbage anyway. Like, I'm not interested in Zero Bro making AI music videos. I couldn't give less of a shit. I don't watch popular, well-known artists make music videos. Like, I don't know. That's just where my brain goes.
Zero
on the
Bro's
AI
one
stuff. So no, I shouldn't say on the AI stuff as well. Like this whole repricing, it's interesting because you're saying like easy, most of it was garbage, and I completely agree with you. But I do think there are some gems in there, and like everyone will think whatever, like Griffin might be a gem, AIXBT might be a gem for somebody else. But I think what's interesting now is that when you have crappy markets, is that time to like really test of the whole AI stuff that came out, what was actually real, because this always happens and it happened in NFTs as well. You like something new comes out, a whole bunch of stuff comes out, and then at the end of the year, you have 3, 4, 5 projects that were actually worth holding until the end of the year. And I think we're going to see that in this like AI trend that's happening. Most of it will go to zero, but out of that, I think there'll be a couple of gems. For example, I still really like AIXBT. I have it like on notifications. It's a great way of just being able to like know what's happening on the market. Does that mean I'm going to buy the token and hold it to the end of the year? Like, I don't know. Let's see. But there's definitely some value in that sector. But I just think like I kind of like it when the tide goes out and you get to see which of these coins and teams were actually building something of value and which ones were just like riding off the hype, and you can't tell if there's value there because everything's been priced up.
AIXBT chart's wild. I mean, well below old levels of support at this point.
Oh, I've never thought that. I don't think any of these stupid ass reply guide chatbots are any good. Like, the most interesting one to me is Moby because it has Asset Dash's data, and that's data set of actual portfolio values where you can see real time on chain buys and sells. This is like, I want to see the language model before, like behind it, the learning model, because the whales say it's good, but like I've never been able to see it. So like it's interesting because people love AIXBT and the ability for its replies and stuff. But I don't know, man. Something about it just being a reply bot makes me sour. I think because all the other stupid AI reply bots really piss me off.
Yeah, I think this one's the best and supposedly has the best data. Like you said, it's like you're basically gated behind owning a good chunk of it, which is now, I guess, cheaper to acquire. I remember it was like $100,000 to acquire enough to access their terminal previously. But like my thought with AIXBT has been like, yes, the model's very good, but like what kind of moat does that have? Like I feel like eventually all of these are going to have the same like kind of level of this.
We're going to have unique learning models that are significantly better and give you way faster and better on-chain data. And then from there, it's like, okay, well now your competition's smoking you. Like I'm interested in something like Graphane is really interesting to me as the infrastructure play, because they do have 2 agents that are real world applicable right now. Obviously being one Moby and then that Kitsune, which is a retail bot for like Shopify on chain. That stuff's interesting to me. Like, there are actual use cases for AI agents. So like this dip currently sitting just below support, way more interesting to me. Way more. Like this one feels like a potential dip if it can catch a bounce. But once again, I don't want to buy these until we start to see some strength. I want to see that volume tick up. I want to see a couple green candles. And then I'm like, all right, sweet.
Another infrastructure play that's interesting is Rift. I got out of Rift around 160. It's now dipped to 30. It's holding up with this market dip. That's another infrastructure play from far away. That's interesting here to me. Basically like plugging into all the other AI agents. You already talked about Cookie. That's another one that I think is inherently interesting because of the data they have. Like, not only is that data nice for like analytics, it's also nice to like train and like offer to AI agents. So like it's like a revenue stream potentially. So I think there are some plays, but I think like you said, I want to see like a daily green candle like for them that's like above the market before I think about getting back into it. And you miss maybe you miss like 20 to 30%, but if you believe in it, like that wasn't what your exit was anyway.
I'm tired, boss. I'm tired.
You're tired.
I mean, dude, it's rough out here, man. It's tough out here, man.
Easy. What's going on with Portnoy stream here? I saw your message in the private chat.
He's wearing a shirt that says Britcoin right now. BRITCOIN. There's someone on their team, I think, called Brit, but it's the Memecoin's running. It's at 569K right now.
This is where we make it all back, boys. Let's go.
I like how we're like, all right, this is how you gamble. All right, so it's actually, so it's not Britain like England. It's Britain,
no, it's a girl.
A girl on her team. Britney Spears. It's a Britney Spears coin.
Yeah, I don't know. She's wearing it.
That's interesting.
Portnoy's gonna save our bags.
All right, I took a flyer at the meme coin. We'll see how that goes. I wonder, he's testing out the waters because like I think he knows what he's doing there.
He's not dumb. Like the shirt literally says Britcoin. You knew someone was gonna make a fucking meme coin.
He made $1 million on Trump.
He lost 500K on Melania. With 48 hours later.
Yeah. And like, so the guy knows what he's doing. So yeah, I like this play. Like the trenches are thirsty. They're thirsty, we'll man. They're just clinging on for hope. So I think this could be a runner.
I'm just so tired of the celebrities launching shit on Solana. Like, dude, Solana is just, the bear case for Solana is just that everyone goes to it to extract money. And it's actually, if you have
my brother in Christ, everyone went to ETH last cycle to extract money. How many absolute dipshits launched something on ETH and did fucking nothing with it, from NFTs to coins? Dude, LaMelo Ball has 4 goddamn NFT collections. LaMelo fucking Ball. Dude, Tory Lanez in jail right now has multiple NFT collections. Like, the comparison is stupid, all right? There's liquidity on Sol, volume on Sol, and interest. So yeah, they're going to do it. And next cycle, maybe it's on another fucking chain. Wherever the fuck there's volume, they're going to go.
No, I'm just tired of it, dude. Leave Solana alone. That fucking dude. The people are just ruining good memes. The dude launching Altcoin. I'm like, dude, stop, bro.
At least he keeps tweeting about it. It's more than 99% of other celebrities. This thing's at $19 million. It hit a low of 7, and this guy said, "Fuck it, I'm posting it on Twitter, and I'm gonna tweet before I post it." He's taking care of the trenches. You got to give him credit where credit is due, because at least he's firing some bullshit into the fucking dust. Like, I give credit where it's due.
With NFTs though, it wasn't that, like, it didn't feel this extractive. Like it was slower. It was harder. Like, you can literally just inside trade so easily. You just launch a pump fund. You buy 10% of the supply in alt wallets, and then you just tweet out the CA and you make like 100K. It's kind of wild. And then on the flip side, if you are a genuine team, if you are doing something that's new and innovative, you get pumped way too hard. Day one, you get the entire LA vape cabal talking about you, and everyone ends up FOMOing into your coin, and then you end up stuck with a bunch of bag holders versus like an organic climb up. That is my problem with the Solana trenches.
I don't think it's a problem of Solana. It's just a problem of like the part of the cycle that we're in. like Clemente, because this would happen on any chain. If we're on Sui or on AVAX on ETH, like it's just a part of the cycle. And like this
They
did
follow
happen on ETH.
liquidity. That's it. It's any market. If there's liquidity, that's where they're gonna fucking go. If you could launch a stock effortlessly, every one of these MFers would be launching a goddamn stock. Donald Trump has a stock. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a matter of it being Solana or it being like whatever XYZ. It's just a matter of the tech being better. Like the tech wasn't there and the infrastructure wasn't there to support these kind of quick flips back last cycle. Like that didn't exist. Like you couldn't like launch a coin. Like launching a coin is now taken for granted. Like that took development work. Either have to find a developer or like be able to do it yourself. Like there weren't these launch pads that exist today, like Pump Fund and all these other ones that make it so simple, along with bundling tools. Like, I mean, when it all comes down to it, all the tooling is there now. So it's harder to get an edge from just being like a vibes trader essentially. So like I could see like where your like issues are with the current market. I like how you're also like, just like, give me my memes back, get all this other stuff out of there. I want to judge things on like how funny it is and how viral it is. And like, that's just like so tough to do now because combined with that tooling and just like the rapid like rotating, just like doesn't let anything that could potentially generate community or be funny, like gain that initial traction that's necessary. You look sad, buddy.
Yeah, man. Look, it was a moment of sadness overcame me. A moment of exasperation, of frustration, of extraction, of yeah. Let's wrap this show, Ray. I gotta, I'm just.
Yeah, I gotta jump too. Trader Fermi says, "Are we minting Gigaverse on Abstract today?" Min is at
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I'm minting that. I'm minting that today. First come, first serve.
Gigaverse?
Allow list. Yep.
Are you minting that shit, Ray?
I'm minting it.
Should I mint?
If you're on the allow list,
Do I have whitelist, Ray? You give me whitelist.
We shared how to get it. You should have it if you did the steps. It was in the
Ray, I didn't do the fucking steps.
All right, well then you don't have it. I don't know the time.
Ray, we didn't do the goddamn steps.
All right, nobody did the steps, but thank you all for listening today on a very special show after this market crash. We were covering a little bit. Thank you all for hanging out with us as we made the comeback. You can catch a show every day this week, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Catch us on all major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple. Catch us back on YouTube. Watch what we're charting, see all the NFTs that we're showing. Look at Easy's lines to tell us where we're going in the future. Thank you all. Have a wonderful Monday.